Hey, here we are.
Live.
Hooray!
Live. Yeah. So there's probably at least one or two people out there, maybe just one, but we're glad to have you. This is the UU Christian Fellowship online telethon, and we're here to raise money and to celebrate a great organization. And thank you so much for tuning in. Let me, before we kick off, let's have folks introduce themselves. So I will monitor that time by saying
Who are you?
Jake Coral, and I am here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, in the bunker here that all houses in Oak Ridge have, deep in the bowels of the earth to protect us from the eventual apocalypse. Uh, and Robin and Cecilia, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Cecilia Kingman, and I'm a board member for the UU Christian Fellowship, and I am really happy to be here on Fat Tuesday with my good friends.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Robin Bartlett. I'm coming to you live from Sterling, Massachusetts. We're in the minister of First Church in Sterling, Massachusetts. And I'm also excited to be on with all of my friends here on Fat Tuesday. Woo!
Woo! All right, we got Hank. Hank Curse is going to be back on. He's gone off somewhere. Folks, we got some technical difficulties. This is real space-age telephone. It's not like public radio where they just have to figure out how to use the voice. We actually have been working all day building video cameras, each in our separate places, and figuring out how this all works. So that we're only 15 minutes late in starting. Can you hear me now? Yeah. So anyway, I was just bragging about what technical wizards we are with my mute button on. This is going to be a great experience for all of us, I think. Already we're having a lot of fun. So the deal is, folks, is that the UU Christian Fellowship does so much good out in the world. We've got the quarterly Good News Journal that's full of essays and articles. We've got revival. There's going to be two revivals simultaneously this October, one in Boston, one in San Diego. You know you can make it. There's going to be an online Monday, Thursday service with Rosemary.
You'll figure it out. Don't worry. You won't figure it out. I'll be off in a second. Oh! Fun! Oh, that's great! No, it's great! Hey, everybody! It's excellent. We're here. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about being here. This is great. Happy Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras, which is how you say it here in New England.
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. I went to school with her. It's good to be here. Have you guys done the introductions already?
Yeah.
We were about
to say who you are.
Say who you are? Oh, there's my wife behind me. There she is. My wife, Rebecca Scott. Rebecca also loves Jesus. I'm Hank Purse. I am the interim minister at the First Parish Church in Milton, Massachusetts. I am, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm you may know me as UU Hulk. You may know me as, I don't know, another. Oh, I run the hot stove. Many Unitarian Universalists follow that. That's where you can follow who is going to what church in sort of a baseball-like manner. And I'm so excited about being here on the telethon. The first telethon without actual telephones. It's a hard little thing to get some people's minds around.
I have a telephone.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Excellent.
You can call me at 617-717-4011 if you would like to give money to the UUCF.
There you go.
Boom.
And for everyone who gives, really tonight, you can give, you can support one time. Oh, can you see me now?
It's an invisible host.
Can you hear me now?
I can see a fancy picture of you. Oh, look.
Here I am. Yeah.
Pancakes.
Okay. So we really want to encourage recurring gifts. We want to encourage year-round commitment, even if it's not very much, $10, which is like, you can get like an expensive cup of coffee for $10 these days. So instead of that, supporting thriving, flourishing, liberal faith, and for everyone who does at least a $10 recurring gift, here's 3 things that are going to happen. The first is for every $10 recurring gift, I will eat a pancake. Secondly, you will have your choice of a T-shirt, a UUCF T-shirt that will say "God is love" or "Love the hell out of the world" or "Death and Glory." We're
You
going
can
to
make it cool like me.
The third thing is, this is crazy, but we will have a drawing for people who donate on a recurring gift. You will have the opportunity to be in a drawing for a free registration to General Assembly, to attend General Assembly. So you're up for a lot of great stuff. Nobody can hear me, can they?
No, we can
No, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Hank just FaceTimed me and did ridiculous things on the phone while you were talking. I should never have given out my number.
That was really crazy.
Hey, everybody, and if you give a one-time gift, we'll add you to the thermometer shaped like a cross. You can see that we've already raised over $800. And if you give us some more money, it will fill up.
If you find that thermometer to be somewhat tasteless, you could.
Then you can give us $1,000 and we will throw them away.
Real thermometer.
So already we've gotten at least 3 recurring $10 gifts. Well, let me tell you, today, since the beginning of the day, we've gotten $787 in one-time gifts, which I just think is great. And I'll name some of those names and thank some of our donors when I pull up the page in a minute. We've gotten at least 3 of these $10 recurring gifts coming in through the PayPal. So I'm going to have 3 Fat Tuesday pancakes now. This is my first 3. I've got like 50-something pancakes here, so just my first 3. Cecilia, can you tell us why you got involved with the UU Christian Fellowship while I chow down?
Why did I get involved with UU Christian Fellowship? Well, I found the UUCF to be a great resource for someone like myself who, though I came out of a Christian background, I didn't really want to leave behind all the language and the theological associations that I still loved. I didn't want to leave the Bible behind, and for me, the Christian Fellowship became a home, sort of an ethereal home, existing in space and time, but not so much in person. That just gave me
like heaven.
Like heaven. God, actually, like the kingdom of God. And sometimes it was hard to find like one more person, so there could be wherever 2 or more are gathered. There was just me, but then there was the Christian Fellowship, and then there were the beautiful writings of my colleagues, and the fabulous Good News Journal, which if you sign up tonight, you will also, if you become a recurring giver, you will be a regular recipient of the Good News Journal, which is a very fine theological journal, in my opinion, and features writings from lots of wonderful UU ministers and lay people, and sometimes even folks who aren't Unitarian Universalists who join us. Poetry, sermons, essays, just gorgeous writing. So, but for me, the journal, and then going to General Assembly and being able to receive communion with other Unitarian Universalists. Sometimes I have to sneak out to the Episcopal Church up the street to steal the body and blood of Christ, and so I really appreciate being able to receive it in a Unitarian Universalist setting from Unitarian Universalists. So for me, that's it. Really a home, an extra home.
That's great. I know, Robin, you were on the UUCF board for a while, and you serve a Christian congregation there in Sterling. Tell us about your connection and your journey.
Well, I actually grew up Unitarian Universalist, Jake. I grew up in a humanist UU church in Concord, New Hampshire. And as I got older, I was just looking for a little bit more depth. And so I discovered Unitarianism and Universalism. because those were the theological traditions of my faith tradition. And so when I discovered Unitarianism and Universalism, I was looking for a way to practice those theological positions within Christianity. And so so I looked far and wide to find churches that were Unitarian and Universalist, that preached the love of God and above all else, and also that God was too large to fit into any one tradition. Those two theological points were really important to the way I understand God and the way I understand who I am and my place in the kingdom of God. And so I for a long time wasn't sure if I could find a church where I could really practice Unitarian and Universalism. And then, so that's why I found the UUCF. It was the obvious place for me to go. Hank is FaceTiming me again. And then I found a church. I actually found a UU Christian church to serve. Let me just answer this. Hello? It's still connecting. Oh, there. Hi, Hank. Hi. Hank is calling me on the phone, and he's on the screen. It's so meta.
It's like falling down a rabbit hole there. Whoa, whoa, there's Robin. There she is. And it's free.
Anyway, I'm a baptized, believing, Jesus-loving Christian, and I'm so glad to be able to be in a Unitarian Universalist church where we practice loving and following Jesus.
I'm going to move to Robin's neighborhood now and stalk her.
No, you don't really want to be in my neighborhood, because actually at this time of year I get really busy because I serve a Christian church. Like, I have to lead Ash Wednesday services tomorrow, and I wouldn't if I was in just a regular UU church.
Take some of these beautiful people with you.
These are my sons, Gus and Juno. They're here because they heard that the pancakes were here. I'm gonna have to eat another pancake. We've got you can have some too. Yeah. We've got recurring gifts from Hank himself. We've got one from Ruth Harvey. We've got one from Mary Brady. I think I ate the pancakes for them before, but this is one that I'm eating for Hank because I'm just so grateful.
Body of Hank.
Fried for you.
Yeah, it's and one from Sherman Logan. So we've got some great.
Wait, does that make 5?
Yeah.
Sherman Logan is
I'm adding those to the side.
We should congratulate Sherman on his entry into the Unitarian Universalist Christian ministry, or Unitarian Universalist ministry.
That's right.
Pancake.
So if folks are just joining us now, we are having a good time and trying to.
Jake's about to start his Banquilitrist Act.
That's right. We're trying to gin up some support for the UU Christian Fellowship, which does so many things: the Good News Journal, the revivals, the gatherings at General Assembly, where people gather together for communion service. Parisa Parsa this summer is going to give a great talk on universalism in action. Parisa is a UU minister who works with a conversation project, bringing people together, and she does that out of a universalist perspective. So she's going to be, on behalf of the UU Christian Fellowship, helping people understand that kind of work. If you want to support the kind of good work that Parisa is doing this summer, that the communion service is about, all that, the revival, the Good News Journal, I hope that you will go to this page, supportuucf.org, and click on the subscription, those recurring gifts. Now, you can do a one-time donation, but if you do the at least a $10 recurring gift, you're going to be in for a drawing of the General Assembly registration. We're going to send you a T-shirt. All kinds of good things will happen.
Prizes tonight too. I think the next person that makes a gift via PayPal is going to get.
What?
We're going to get the very next person. In fact, the next 5 people can have one of these Fishers of Men Sunday School pins. It's a vintage pin from my Baptist days. And you got these if you could identify a Bible verse in 5 seconds or less, but I never could do because I wasn't very quick with the Bible. But if you call in, I'll personally send this to you with a little love note, thanking you for your contribution. And it's genuine vintage brass, and it's a little fish.
Vintage brass.
And I'll even sing the song that goes with it if you'll sign up now.
Cecilia, you're saying the next 5 people to do recurring gifts
will get a fishing hook. I can't make it go right side. Here, let me try. It's a fishing hook. You can also wear it as a nose ring if you're that type, or I think it'll. If you want to, I can do that too. And then I'll mail it with a little note to them, a little love note thanking them, and I'll mail it to them. And if 5 people make recurring gifts, I get bored of this game, I'll sing a little Bible song that goes with it.
That's great. Great, thanks.
Now we'll find out how many people really want to hear me sing.
I want to hear you sing, Cecilia.
No, Robin and I, we first really became fast friends when we were at a very long and boring meeting, and we started singing Bible songs together.
We sang, "Rise and shine and give God your glory."
Your money,
glory,
money.
Rise and
Oh,
shine.
that's not how it goes?
Give God your money, money, rise and shine and give God your glory, glory.
Children of the
Lord.
Oh, Hank, so I know your story about singing "This Little Liberal Light of Mine." When you're. So I talked with a 92-year-old church member today who was her spouse died last year. He's going to be honored by the UUA General Assembly because he was a really generous supporter of the Unitarian Universalist Association. And she talked about how in the 1950s one of the things that he loved was singing "This Little Liberal Light of Mine." And that's something that she still sings. Whenever she hears "This Little Light of Mine," she sings that and she waggles her finger. And I was thinking that there's something about, I know a lot of people have heard that song in other traditions, but there's something about connecting not just Unitarian Universalism and not just Christianity, but the two together is a special community, a special, folks who have personal relationships, but also have a common ground in how they relate to Jesus or follow Jesus and how they understand God. So I was thinking even whether it's singing "This Little Liberal Light of Mine," which goes way back to the 40s and 50s, or even farther back, or it's people, friendships that have gotten together from the revival gatherings, these biennial gatherings, or seeing each other at General Assembly, or even online. I know a lot of great friendships and conversations happen there. There's something special. There's something unique that folks aren't going to find in other places.
Yes, it's true. I think for me, I also, we should be very honest right now. 3 of the 4 of us grew up as Unitarian Universalists. One of these things is not like the other. No, but you don't have to have grown up as a Unitarian Universalist to be a part of the UU Christian Fellowship. For me, I too grew up in a very humanist congregation, the First Unitarian Church in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and for me, when there was a feeling, it was sort of an unspoken assumption about what people believed, and if people believed in God and people believed in Jesus, that they were somehow weak. And then when I was in my late teens or early 20s, I can't remember the date, but I remember the day I was, I can't remember if I had gotten fired or if I had gotten dumped. But I was feeling pretty bad, and I was walking down the street, and I saw a penny on the sidewalk, and I picked it up, and I did that little rhyme, see a penny, pick it up, all a day, have good luck, and then and I had it in my fingers, and the next thing I know, I was like 2 blocks down the street with that penny still in my hand, and still asking for things, and all of a sudden I realized I caught myself, and I thought to myself, am I saying a prayer? And if I'm saying a prayer, does that mean that I believe in God? And if I believe in God, does that mean I'm weak? And then the realization of well, you're feeling pretty weak. Maybe this God thing wouldn't be so bad. You should maybe try it out. And for me, it really was, having grown up in a church where we never practiced communion, with very little rituals. I remember when the chalice was introduced in my home church, and people just lighting this one candle during the service. People said, "Are we becoming Catholics?"
Catholic.
It was a sort of now it's sort of ridiculous to look back on. But there was such a reaction to it, and and I understand where those folks were coming from. For me, I've become more and more interested in Unitarian Universalist Christianity, because it's a place where I really feel that we have our own flavor. I was at a conference actually this past summer with Robin, and many of the other folks there were UCC ministers and lay people, and and lots of it I was enjoying it. I felt accepted by these folks. It was great. And then every once in a while, someone would be saying a prayer, and they'd say something that just kind of caught me, and I went, "Oh, I don't believe in that." I gotta roll back, and I realized that our space is, that we hold a particular space in the body of Christianity. We hold a particular spot in the body of in the body of God. That there is a place for us here, and that we do important work, understanding and really. Being critical and understanding our own liberal religious tradition, our own liberal Christian tradition, and in a faith such as ours, where we are so embracing of so many different faiths. At times, I worry that we're maybe borrowing from other faiths in ways that I don't always feel good, but I feel good about being able to be part of this tradition. The last church I served, the First Parish Church in Westford, as an interim minister, is a church that, like Robin's, is affiliated both with the Unitarian Universalist Association and the United Church of Christ, and it was really a great opportunity for me to go, and as a friend said, you can get your Jesus on now, and it was great. And now I'm serving as the interim minister in Milton, and Milton also has a liberal Christian perspective, and we have communion. We just had communion just this past week, Cecilia. Sorry, of course we had apple juice and king cake and donuts. Knowing that Mardi Gras was coming up, and that Lent is starting tomorrow, and I can strike donuts off my list for the next 6 weeks. But it really, being part of the UU Christian Fellowship has really allowed me to feel like I have a place in this amazing faith of ours. I think that's one of the great things about being a Unitarian Universalist, is that I had I went from being a teenage humanist to an adult theist, and it's a 180-degree turn in many ways, and yet I'm still part of this faith tradition. I didn't have to leave my church. I didn't have to lose my faith. I was able to be still part of this faith tradition, and that's fantastic. And when our robot overlords finally come and start ruling over us, I will start worshiping them as well. That's part of our faith as well. It's small print. It's one of the new principles and purposes about robots and space aliens. But I'm in with Jesus.
Thanks, Hank, especially for all of that, except for the last 10 seconds. Right. I just want to celebrate. Cecilia, did you have a cowbell or something? Because Eric Posa just has given a recurring gift, so he's entered the grand prize of having his General Assembly paid for, and also we're all having pancakes here.
I'm getting hungry watching you guys.
All the Muro boys are having pancakes here, Eric, we're going to send you a T-shirt, and we'll be in touch offline about which of the 3 T-shirts you want, because anybody who's given recurring gifts until 10 o'clock Eastern tonight is going to get a free T-shirt, get entered into the General Assembly registration, and is going to invite me or all of us here in Tennessee to eat a pancake.
Eric's going to get one of these little pins, but Eric doesn't need one because Eric is a fisher of people. I'm going to make our language inclusive here. Eric is a fisher of people already, and Eric is one of the people that I met through the Christian Fellowship, and I am just like, hi, Eric, if you're watching. I don't know. It's hard to know if he's actually watching now. He may have made his gift and gone to eat his pancakes, but Eric, thank you so much.
And there's something just wonderful. You know, you talked about being a fisher of people. One of the things, coming in as executive director of the UUCF last fall, I really understood the way that this organization faces Unitarian Universalism. But what I've come to understand in the last few months is how important this is as a bridge organization to people who may be in some Christian congregation or maybe just out in the world, and they're kind of seeking and wondering, and they haven't found their faith home yet. And you know, they would not gravitate or feel immediately comfortable in a humanist congregation or that kind of thing. But if they can find UU Christian Fellowship, then they're really beginning to find their people. So it's not only a place of gathering and support for Unitarian Universalists who love Jesus and love God as known through Jesus, but also through people out in the world who are you know, who are hungry for this inclusive God that is so big that God doesn't stop, you know, at the walls that we build up or the definitions that we can come up. There's just that big love, and there's something about the UUCF's ability to gather people that's so important. Sometimes we've already mentioned the revivals that happen every couple of years. It'll happen this October 14th to 16th in San Diego and Boston, but also online. One of the UUCF's board's goals is to create and strengthen an online ministry. We're still experimenting with that. We've got a big grant request in to build an online platform, but we're already seeing, you know, what could that look like? One of the examples will be this March 24th, Maundy Thursday. Rosemary Bray McNatt with Cecilia here as liturgist will be offering a Maundy Thursday service online, so that folks, I was going to say Unitarian Universalists, but really anybody who's drawn to that kind of message, to that kind of space, can come and gather and reflect on that somber evening in a way that, you know, may not have been possible 10 years ago. The technology just wasn't there. Now it's there, and we want to see how can we reach more people, how can we draw more people in, how can we build this community and deepen the faith. I'm going to check to see. Yeah.
Jake, can I say something about the power of Universalist Christianity? I just wanted to say that when I was going through the hardest time of my life, I got a divorce a few years ago, and I went through one of the hardest times of my life, and I had, actually Cecilia was a huge supporter of me during that time, and I'm forever thankful. But I managed to find myself a church that preached the message of Universalist Christianity. And what I really needed during that time, which I think is sometimes lacking in some of our churches, Christian and UU, is confession. And I found a church that offered communal confession of sin and, more importantly, assurance of pardon, which I experienced as being completely and totally universalist. So after we would have a time of confessing the sins of our communities, the pastor would confess the sins of our communities on behalf of all of us, and then would give us a time for silent confession of our sin or of our brokenness, or however we understood what we were doing. She would then have us stand up. She would say, "Please rise and hear this good news," and she would tell us in one way or another that we were only human and doing the best that we can, and she would say, to us. It says in our scripture that nothing in heaven and nothing on earth can separate us from the love of God in Christ. And so I declare us a forgiven people. Can I get an amen? And that was the message that I needed every single week. I actually needed it every day. I wish I could have gone every day to hear that. But it was such a universalist message. It was the message that we are saved by God's grace, that all are saved by God's grace. And to me, that is the most salvific message that there is. If we lost that message, I'm not sure I would even be a minister at all, because I understand my role to preach the gospel, which is the love of God, which is the salvation of all people. And so I just wanted to say that that without universalism, I'm not sure where I would be. And I think it is that important. I think it's life-saving.
Yeah, amen. Thank you. Thank you, Robin.
Jake, I wanted to
Yeah.
second your recommendation to people for the Maundy Thursday service. And for folks who may not know, that Rosemary Bray McNatt is the president of Star King School for the Ministry, one of our UU seminaries, just in case we have folks who aren't familiar with all of that. And that Rosemary is I think will bring us just a real grace-filled, beautiful Maundy Thursday experience. And I'm super excited about this. It'll be the first time that the UU Christian Fellowship has tried to do online worship in this way. And I think it'll be a really interesting train for us. You know, I serve out on the West. I've always served out on the West Coast, and I came to Unitarian Universalism through one of our more theistic congregations, First Unitarian in Portland, Oregon, and that there's plenty of room for Unitarian Universalist Christians. They actually have a Maundy Thursday communion service there, and it wasn't until I began to serve in congregations that were more humanistic or atheistic that I realized that for some UU Christians it is entirely possible to feel very much a wanderer in the wilderness in our faith. And I even have served. I'm very privileged to serve right now the good people of Edmonds, Washington, Edmonds Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Edmonds, Washington, who seem to have a wonderful level of tolerance for my Christianity in the midst of many of them much more humanist and atheistic, and we love each other deeply, and I'm grateful for that. I have served in congregations where the Christians were closeted, were literally closeted, such that when they met, they weren't on the calendar, or they were on the calendar under another moniker, because they were concerned that because they had experienced enough pushback. And for those people, and at the time that I was initially serving one of those congregations, I didn't even know about the UUCF, and now I do, and I just think about what a lifeline that would have been to some of those folks, to know that there were other people, that they weren't just this odd little cluster. And so part of what your gifts tonight can give is the chance for us to amplify that message with things like online worship, with a greater support for folks. Unitarian Universalism in the West is very different looking than it is on the East Coast. There are very few churches that serve communion or any of those things. And so if you think about it as expanding, it's almost like my Baptist minister grandfather would love this. It's like if you could expand the reach of Jesus' message of comfort to your brothers and sisters, your siblings in faith who are out here on the West Coast where it's just now dinner time. That would be a remarkable gift to us, because it can feel, we were late to the Unitarian Universalist train because we were on the Oregon Trail, and it took a long time to get out here. And so a lot of our congregations weren't even formed until the 50s and 60s. And so if you think about the congregations that Hank has served and that some of you have served that were founded, in a really long time ago for us out here on the West Coast, and all had those Christian practices as their essential starting point. We have the oldest churches out here were founded in the mid-1800s, and so there's already that big a big shift. So if you love what we're doing and like that idea of setting it out, you might think of I feel like I'm making a pitch for the missionaries. Come on, send us some good word out here for those folks in those congregations that don't yet know that there are people like them who also cherish the universal message that Robin talked about.
And I think that we can unapologetically talk about mission fields and talk about folks out there who are hungry. They're just waiting to hear this word of love and to hear this this invitation. I'm thinking about I'm a chaplain in the Army Reserves, and I'm thinking about a couple of conversations where I've had. We're not allowed to proselytize. We're there to support people's freedom of religion. But a couple of times when I've talked with people, and they've been kind of figuring out, here's where I'm at, but it doesn't really fit in my, name your church, and I've talked with them about Unitarian Universalism, and again, this is right where I think Unitarian Universalist Christianity, where a Jesus that is close to them, and a God who accepts them no matter what they've done, where they've been, who they are. Is just such a powerful invitation. Speaking of hunger, I'm going to do a quick transition into the more earthly stuff, because we've gotten two gifts now, recurring gifts, one from Laura Hoke and one from Jordan Nelson. So that means that here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, we're going to be eating, Juno and I are going to be eating 2 pancakes each to celebrate this. It also means that Laura and Jordan will receive the free T-shirts of their choice from the UU Christian Fellowship, and also will be entered into having registration paid for into the big drawing. And Cecilia, they're still in the Fishers of Men bronze hook.
So we'll send more Fishers. Only it's.
There, and let me say, the T-shirts you're getting are
language in my Baptist Sunday school. So.
The T-shirts that everyone's getting are Jake's old T-shirts, because he's eating all those pancakes and getting a little bit bigger. He won't fit the T-shirts that he has any longer. So that's the T-shirts that you're getting. They're Jake's old ones. You can maybe actually still get some with some pancake and syrup on them too.
A little. You're gonna have to wash them.
Folk art.
They still have his sweat on him. He's so dreamy. Is that $8?
Whoa, wait a minute. What?
Hey, why don't you tell the good people what, so they don't have to get out their Bibles and find out what your shirt is referring to. Psalm 133.
1. So, which is, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for men to live as brothers, and you can see this is it's from one of my Masonic brothers has given it to me, so it's which is nice too. So, and it's one of the passages we read at Lodge from the Hebrew Scriptures, the Psalms. So it's nice. So it's nice to be able for me to wear that. There was once an evening when many years ago when Cecilia was at General Assembly, or was it at one of the big UU clergy events? But there was a Bible contest, and you and I. We were in a room full of other clergy, and you and I ended up being the big winners.
We were playing this game actually. No one at my house will play it with me. I mean, it's hard to play Bible verse games with 3-year-olds. But you could. I have decided to give it away as a prize tonight.
Mommy wins again.
We won this game once. We were the only people biblically literate enough, and I think everybody else. Well, never mind. I think they'd been perhaps imbibing, and they weren't as quick as we were. But this is a Bible trivia game. So I have a secret love of church rummage sales where they sell out all the contents of their Sunday school cabinets. And so if you would like to have, it's really heavy, but I'm glad to ship it to someone. What should we make the amount for? If you give $300 to the UCF tonight, I will personally ship you. It's a very difficult game, though. The questions are very hard. It's not like, what verse was blah, blah, blah. It's more like how many Minuans did God smite at the battle of blah, blah, blah. And then you have to actually know the number. So, in fact, if we
40
get
and
bored,
2,000.
I'll read some questions. So,
Wow. So now that you're mentioning that kind of a generous gift of $300, let me tell you that not only have we gotten a recurring payment from Michael Hips, a new recurring gift, but I want to run down some people are just choosing, they don't want to do the recurring thing. They want to do one-time donation, which is so generous, and that is an option for everybody. I'm just going to share some of the names. Wallace Hoggett has given a one-time gift. Catherine Dubow has given a one-time gift. Let's see.
Greg Slom. Hi, Greg Slom.
Yeah, Robin Bartlett, thank you very much. You've given Vicki Weinstein's given a one-time gift. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't know how Robin and Hank are going on PayPal while we're doing this. So I can't multitask like that. I'm clearly the oldest person on this telethon tonight, and I can't do that.
No, you're not.
Hank and Robin. Yes.
Oh, Kathleen Henry gave a gift. Madeline Safantis gave a gift.
Oh, nice.
Scott Wells gave a one-time gift. That's great. Lots of generosity here. Catherine Stinson. So, folks, you can do the recurring gift, and the recurring gift, mind you, gets you eligible for the T-shirt that we'll send you, and the drawing for General Assembly registration. But the one-time gifts are just so generous too, and it sounds like Cecilia is saying anybody who gives at least $300 tonight before 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Cecilia's the first person to do that. Cecilia's going to box up the Bible Challenge coming your way, supporting the UU Christian Fellowship.
That's right.
Jake, what are we up to in money and one-time gifts? I need to add it to our thermometer.
Robin, I'm so glad you asked me to do math. Well, pancakes. No, that's
fine.
You can do math and eat pancakes at the same time, Jake. You're smart. You have like 5 jobs.
I know. I need somebody to kind of go on a little bit of a rant, and then that will buy me cover to do math.
Okay.
Okay.
How many people did the Lord
40 and 2,000
had not bowed to Baal? How many people did not bow to Baal?
Just one.
Mm-mm.
Right? No, I don't know. Hey,
we grew up UU. We don't know.
Right. 7,000. I would have known that as a former Baptist.
I have some other stuff that I purchased at yard sales that I will send out as well. It has nothing to do with Unitarian Universalism, but I will give it to you. If you give some money, I'll send you some stuff we get lying around out back. We've this one snow tire that we bought. We thought we were gonna get other ones. I'll ship that to you, $1,000, and I'll ship you this old snow tire.
And we can
What else can we send you?
The next person who gives a one-time gift of $200 can have this cross from Ecclesia Ministries here in Massachusetts. It's a beautiful cross on a kind of a leather lanyard, and I will send it to you if you give $200 one-time gift. What?
Is that GIMP or is that leather?
No, I don't know. It's leather. Hey,
are you trying to hypnotize us right now, Robin? You just waving it in front of us like that?
You are getting very sleepy. You will give money.
Okay, let me break in here, guys, and say with one-time gifts, we have received today and this evening $1,146.60. So that's just one-time gifts. I'll go back and do the monthly ones. But you got that, Robin? $11.60.
Wait till you see this.
Hey, Jake, all those people who are entering the raffle for the ticket, the registration for General Assembly, if you go to General Assembly, you get to hang out with the UU Christian Fellowship, and you get to hear Parisa Parsa preaching on harnessing wisdom by surfacing difference. Universalism in Action, right? And you get to do the UU Communion service if you'd like to do that. And we have a very special preacher coming in to preach the communion service. That's Bob Hunter of Earlham College. For those of you who don't know about Earlham College, that's a wonderful, wonderful institution that I think they're Mennonite, right? Yeah, it's a Mennonite institution. And Bob Hunter, how did we get Bob Hunter, Jake? How did that come about? Got lucky?
Kimberly Hampton, who is president of the board of the UU Christian Fellowship, invited him. I think Earlham is a Quaker school,
Quaker,
and Kimberly's got connections there, background there. I think she may have gone there. I'm not as an undergraduate. I'm sure. I'm just making up her past here, but I believe that she's got connections and knew Bob, and was really excited to hear that he was willing to come and be our preacher. And the communion service is such an important part for so many people in our movement to have that experience of the open table, of the place where they are welcome and can receive the body and blood of Christ, and where they can hear that empowering, encouraging word. So this is a really great time to come together.
And I think it's worth noting that because we are the Unitarian Universalist Christian Fellowship, so Unitarian and Universalist describing a Christian, that this not only is at an open table, but your own interpretation of whatever is happening during communion. If you believe in transubstantiation, that is fine, and if you don't, that's fine too. This is not a dogmatic experience. The UU Christian Fellowship is open theologically in all ways. So we are probably, if you polled us all on our Christology, you would get different answers. There are people throughout the UU Christian Fellowship who have different theological views on Jesus and who Jesus was, on Christology and all those things, and absolutely all of those views are welcome in the UU Christian Fellowship because it's the Unitarian, I have to make my hand go this way, Unitarian Universalist Christian Fellowship. Not the Christian Unitarian Universalist Fellowship.
With gifts tonight, we've got a total of $121 a month. Whatever that is times 12 is what it is a year. But you know, some people are giving $5. Some are giving Hank's laughing at my math. Some are giving $5. Some are giving $10. Some are giving $20. You know, so it really is on a monthly basis. That's not going to a movie one time, so that you can make sure that you're helping the UU Christian Fellowship reach that lost person or that person who's been wandering, not knowing where they fit in spiritually. You know, it's such a great thing that you're part of supporting. I know in San Diego they've got a great UU Christian Fellowship group out there, and this is true all around the country. These folks are looking for resources. They're looking for some support and coaching, and they get that from the UU Christian Fellowship of how to sustain their small groups. So that's another thing that happens out of this organization. So Robin, are you tracking how the generosity is flowing here?
Oh yeah, I think we're almost up to. Wait a second. Scott Wells just did the math for me. He's not even on this call, but he did the math for me anyway. So 1452 plus 1200 is $2,652 so far.
Wow! Hey,
I'm gonna have to make a new cross.
How many people have we had so far? Jake, can you tell us? We had a goal tonight. How many folks we were gonna bring in?
Well, if you all are willing to rant for a little bit, then I will go back and count. But I will say that I just refreshed the PayPal. We had some gifts coming in. We've got to thank Karen Bellavance Grace. We're thanking Eric Kamenetsky.
Hey,
we're thanking Stephen Cook.
That's my boss. We should thank you.
We're thanking Joanna Crawford. Hey, Joanna, over in Texas.
Jesus loves you, Eric Kamenetsky.
Guys, look, we're almost at the top of the cross. I have to make another one.
And Cecilia.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't need to make another one. It's okay.
Cecilia, if you can mail off that Bible Challenge game off to Stephen Cook, he's sounds like he was really aiming for it. So that's great. such generosity, and as we say, whether it's $10 a month or whether it's a one-time gift, it really helps so much in reaching people, in sharing this word of a generous love. I'm going to go back to PayPal and count how many donors we've had.
Okay, I'm gonna tell people about the goals that we have for strengthening and renewing the organization for a few minutes. So the goals of the board for the UUCF, we have 3 goals right now. One is to plant new Christian communities, perhaps online, perhaps in person, and to offer support for folks in doing that. So we really see that this is an opportunity to help people, perhaps just a few folks meeting in a home, or maybe they meet in a larger Unitarian Universalist or other congregation, or perhaps we put together small groups online. We don't really know. We just know that we want to grow the ministry for new Christian communities. We want to develop a vibrant online ministry. We've applied for a grant to overhaul our website. That we'd like to have an online library and have a place for people to interact. We'd like to have, as I said, resources for small groups. Jake and I, we just spent like an hour one day making up cool things we could do if we just could find the time and the money, but mostly the money, because then the money makes the time for folks, right? And we want to have more merchandise, more cool shirts, like, our T-shirt, and help spread the word that way. I tell you, when I wear this shirt like around town, and people stop me. People never heard of Unitarian Universalism or anything, and they say, "That is the coolest shirt." What does that mean? Tell me about that. And immediately I get to tell them about Unitarian Universalism first and foremost, and about about the beautiful message that Robin talked about earlier about the universal love and the deep and abiding love of the divine for all of us. And then we get to have this really cool conversation that I promise you don't usually get to have with other preschool parents or people in line at the coffee shop.
Cecilia,
yeah.
Can we just do a shout out to Eric Martinez-Resley, who made those shirts? Thank you.
Yeah.
He made all the designs on those shirts, and he's an incredibly talented Unitarian Universalist minister.
Can you still buy those shirts, Jake? Like if you need extra for your friend and you've already gotten your gift tonight?
Yeah, you sure can. Currently people go to the Facebook page, the Love the Hell Out of the World T-shirts Facebook page, or you can go to the uuchristian.org website, and currently you make a donation there and just say that you're doing it to buy a T-shirt. The new website that we've been in development with is going to have a merchandise store, so you can buy old Good News journals or UU Christian journals or the T-shirts. And speaking of, you were talking about Eric Martinez-Resley and how creative he is. Sean Dennison has just given a gift, so thank you so much, Sean. And I think about Sean's ministry as being one that really encourages artists to be creative and to come together and work together. And hopefully the UU Christian Fellowship is making that kind of space too, inviting people to be creative and express themselves and feel free and safe, to do that. So thank you, Sean, and just refreshing here. And that was Sean was our 28th donor. So we really got a lot of folks who are reaching out, shouting out, and helping out. My son and I are going to have another pancake.
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess we have to have 4 pancakes.
Well, I really like the T-shirt on your son / pancake eating assistant tonight. He's wearing a Star Wars T-shirt. I just have to tell you that Star Wars, the movie, is the thing that made me a Unitarian Universalist. Actually, I was 9 years old when Star Wars came out, so now y'all can do the math. And I went and I saw that movie, and then I went home to my parents and said, so I have this idea that there's this force, and it's like a beautiful, beautiful force for good or evil. You could choose it for whatever. And I had no idea the effect that shift in theology would have for me, but it truly led me to Unitarian Universalism. And so I really appreciate the Star Wars. And I'm thinking about our colleague Chris Crass, our fabulous Chris Crass, who always has like the theology of Star Wars on his Facebook page. So I think it's highly appropriate that we have a Star Wars shirt guest appearing on the UCF Telethon tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So you've run out of things to talk about out there. Is that what's
Oh,
happening?
no, I'm an aging Gen Xer who likes to talk about Star Wars. That's all.
Me
You
too,
know
honey. But
what made me? Do you know what made me a Unitarian Universalist Christian? The movie Footloose.
Do tell.
I just wanted to say that because
I have
it's
to go
gonna.
laugh off screen now.
Logan's Run. Logan's Run.
All right, just in case anybody's
The
actually
first of the Evil
watched
Dead movies. That did it to me, man. That.
they may still have an audience. I don't know. Maybe they all gave up and went
We've
to
got
bed.
we got 12 people watching us right now.
Our disciples. Our disciples.
So you know one of the things was that
Our disciples.
Have her phone number again so that people, if anybody has a question about the Christian Fellowship or any other thing they might like to know, that they can call.
What's Robin drinking right now?
So again, we're looking for folks to support the UU Christian Fellowship. Hopefully, with a recurring monthly gift of at least $10. It can be 15 or 20 or whatever whatever works for you, whatever fits for you. You are supporting an online ministry, the hope of planting Christian communities, the hope of providing developing resources for Christian UUs out there to reach more people, to touch more lives. You know, one thing we as we share the stories of how we came into UU Christianity, I'm thinking about this experience that I had. I had through my 20s, after growing up UU, had really found a home in Christianity. The experience of communion, hearing the Psalms, it was just just so beautiful, so powerful during some pretty tumultuous times in my life. When I moved to Boston, just coincidentally, I moved a couple of blocks away from the first church in Jamaica Plain, where Terry Burke was pastor, and just it was the nearest Unitarian Universalist church. So I went there and could not believe that there was this beautiful, powerful Christian worship service that was available within Unitarian Universalism. I had grown up my whole life as a Unitarian Universalist. I didn't know that it was an option, that I could have both, that I could have this beautiful tradition that I had found of Christianity while also still being rooted in the tradition that had raised me of Unitarian Universalism. Being a member there at First Church Jamaica Plain and getting baptized by Terry was just such a powerful point in my own spiritual journey. And as many folks know, we lost Terry last year all too soon. And some of how I understand where we're at in the UU Christian Fellowship now is we are receiving the baton from the generation that's come before. You know, this Unitarian Universalist Christian Fellowship has been going since 1945. It's been carrying the torch. It's been sharing the good news, holding that space. And now it's time for folks who've been feeling the power of the message, maybe even receiving, being on the receiving end. Now it's time for people who are Gen X or millennials to really step up and to begin to contribute in a spirit of gratitude, really, from what we've received for so long, to really say, yeah, I want to be part of bringing this on to the next decade, the next 25 years, the next generation. I want to make sure that Unitarian Universalist Christianity is not only around, but is flourishing online and in small groups all over the country, all over the world, 30 years from now, 40 years from now. And we're at a really important part in the life of the UU Christian Fellowship. Ron Robinson, my predecessor, did so much to broaden the scope, to make it not only a regionally New England organization, but also one that spread throughout the country. He really helped the UU Christian Fellowship grow online in a way that had been started by Stephen Cook. He really nurtured a new generation of folks who saw him as a teacher and a leader. And so really we've received so much from his decade plus of leadership, and I really understand myself to be trying to honor his leadership through this next chapter of building on the foundation that he and others have built, and really honoring the legacy of Terry Burke and of so many good souls like that. So I hope that if you're at home listening or watching or considering, that you'll decide now to go to the donation button or the subscription button and make that commitment. If nothing else, you'll get to see me eat another pancake.
Jake, can I just ask our viewers something? Viewers, would you, if you would be so kind, would you text me on my number, which is 617-717-4011, and just tell us why this ministry is important to you. If you're still listening, if you've been listening, if you're one of those 12 people who've been listening to this online telecast or telethon, would you let us know, 617-717-4011, in these last moments that we have left, why this ministry is so important to you? 617-717-4011. Just text me, just send me a text message and let us know why this ministry is important to you, and we'll read it on air so that other people can hear how important this ministry really is, how far it has spread, how life-giving it is to so many. So please, will you do that? 617-717-4011 is the number to text, and we're awaiting your text messages now.
Jake, when I was listening to you, I was thinking about Kathleen Rollins and David Keyes and so many wonderful people who've served the Christian Fellowship for so long, and the leadership, and I'm also thinking about Carl Scoville, and for some of these folks, I think it's a little easier now in Unitarian Universalism to be an out UU Christian, thanks to some of the work that those folks did. I think about Carl Scoville's beautiful Berry Street address a number of years ago, where he just said, like, this is what it means to be this, and there still should be room for me here and for us here, and how some of those folks really gave their heart to create enough space for folks to keep this alive. And so I'm really grateful, and I personally just want to shout out to Kathleen Rollins and David Keyes and Carl Scoville for all the times that their voices minister to me. So they're probably not watching because they're they've already
they're asleep. They're asleep right now.
They're eating pancakes like everyone else. You know what? I don't know if you all know this, but eating pancakes on Mardi Gras is not a universally acknowledged thing. And I had to start this tradition in my own home. I'd never heard of it until Hank posted about it on Facebook. And so I don't know. Does anybody know the history of eating pancakes on Mardi Gras on Shrove Tuesday?
Sure, you're using up all the fat and the butter and flour and that sort of stuff. You're using it all up before Lent, so you're just having a big. You're eating.
Because we're not going to eat it during Lent.
Syrup, yeah, sort of decadent, that sort of stuff. That's it.
It's your last feast.
It's also traditional for Protestant churches to put on pancake breakfasts for all their Catholic neighbors as a fundraiser. But also as a way, well, let's be honest about.
It's so interesting. Yeah, I didn't really know that, and I love the idea of it. I don't actually like pancakes, but I love the idea of that. Yeah, I'm not a pancake person.
I don't like them as much as I did an hour ago.
I only like it if they're cooked in bacon fat. Then I like them.
Hey, friends, we've gotten a text from somebody who's anonymous that says, I left the church at 18 because I couldn't reconcile my scientific view with the message of Jesus. UU Christian Fellowship has given Jesus back to me. And another one that says, the UU Christian Fellowship has been my road to Emmaus. So thank you very much, texters. Wow. Those are beautiful testimonials, short and beautiful. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And I also want to thank Whitney Crawford, who's just signed in with a check.
Whitney. Sorry.
So there's still time. We've got about 11 minutes left. If you want to sign up to be a recurring donor of at least $10 a month for a monthly subscription, not only are you going to start getting the Good News Journal edited by Peter Bellotta at least 3 times a year, sometimes 4. Got a good Easter issue coming out next month. You'll also get a T-shirt mailed to you, one of the UUCF T-shirts. You'll be a member of the UUCF, and you'll also be entered in the drawing that we're going to have for General Assembly registration. So that's a $350 value that with your gift of at least $10 a month recurring donation, you'll be eligible for. Most importantly, though, you're going to be supporting an organization that we just heard these beautiful testimonials that gave Jesus back to somebody, that has been the road to Emmaus, that has been that loving companion for so many people. So you're really investing in that, and you're becoming part of that. You're becoming part of what makes this generous love possible and reach wider and out into the world and find people there who've been wandering, hungry and thirsty, waiting for UU Christianity.
And keep those texts coming. There's still time. 617-717-4011 is the number to text. 617-717-4011.
And if you could compose them in like a haiku or even a limerick, that would be better too. We'd really appreciate that.
So, Jake, I'm noticing that we have some other prizes that, at least on our little tip sheet here, that we were going to give away for that raffle, and that one of them, this is maybe a second or third prize. If you don't get the registration to General Assembly, you will get a lock of Hank's hair, a hank of Hank's hair. So, I noticed that we didn't offer. Thank you for not offering one of mine or one of Robin's.
or one of Jake's.
Jake.
I can't spare it. I can't.
I'm trying to grow my hair out. I really appreciate you not offering a chunk of mine. So Hank.
Yeah.
I think you should cut it online. So if somebody makes the next person to make a recurring gift, or maybe any gift at all.
Yeah. Punch yourself in the head.
Unfortunately, I don't see any scissors around here.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me just open my drawer. Let's open these drawers here. Let's see. I can put on a little tam o'shanter and look for what other things do I have here in front of me?
Hat, or is that from the Google special effects hat?
It's a Scottish Rite hat. That's all I'm gonna say.
So if you would like to make a gift now or soon, before we're done in just a very short time, Hank is going to cut his hair and send you a lock. The next person to make a recurring gift, Jake, is going to write you a song on the topic of your choice.
Oh,
That's right.
Can you write a song about a lock of my hair?
Yeah. We've got 3 more recurring gifts. I just want to say thank you to Greg DeBow. Greg, I'm so sorry. I know we talk all the time.
and his mommy.
I can't pronounce your last name, Greg, and I'm so sorry.
DeBow.
Is it DeBow? I say DeBow, and then I correct myself.
DeBow.
Anyway,
Greg
from Greggy. And then Michael Stanberry is also given a generous recurring gift. And then Ian McIsaac. So that's 3 pancakes that I've got to eat here. And I'm happy to do it. So
I still have pins. I still have Fisher pins. So
I just like how Robin just keeps giggling. That's my favorite part of tonight is just Robin's giggles. Anyway, and so the next person I'm sending a lock of my hair to, is that right?
Well, I don't know. Did those come in? Does Greg get the lock of Hank's hair, or was that before we?
Or just a lock, maybe just like a padlock.
Robin, right now, I don't want a lock of Hank's hair.
I do. I'm going to put it in my hope chest.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so can I, does somebody have a pen there and is willing to do this drawing if I name off the names?
Yeah. Yes, I'm ready.
Is this an art project you want us to do?
No, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Who has glitter?
I can do ours.
I have paper and a pen. I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? First is Greg Dubal.
Just write the first names. We don't need to.
No,
Okay,
I'm gonna.
the next is Michael Stanberry. You can just write their initial, but I'm going to say their whole name because I'm just so grateful.
Yeah.
Ian McIsaac.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Hips. Lara Hoke. Eric Posa. Hank Purse.
Joanna Crawford just accused us all of being a little punchy right now on social media.
It's late,
Oh.
Joanna. God.
It's not Texas time.
I have no excuse.
I can't even have conversations after 7 o'clock.
Mary Brady.
Okay.
Richard Hayes.
Uh-huh.
And Curran Jeffrey.
Okay, and am I picking their name out of a hat?
Yeah, those are the people. Let me just refresh again to see if anybody has had a last minute. Nope, that's where we're at.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay, keep talking, keep talking.
You got 6 minutes now to make your gift. Well, you can make your gift at any time, but if you want one of these fabulous prizes, you got to make your gift before 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. You can do the math on the numbers in between. But I got to go make some pancakes for some people, and so you got now 5 minutes to make your gift. Because even though I don't like pancakes, now that Hank has introduced the custom to my entire family, I have to make them.
That's what, at my 50th birthday. At my 50th birthday party, that's what we ate. We had pancakes.
We did.
My favorite food.
And Hank
Come to a party.
Hank gave a super tearful speech. It was adorable. He was like, "Oh my God!"
So I love the Hank love fest here, but I'm feel compelled in my role as the only board member here on this call to remind you all that the UCF has been supporting Unitarian Universalist Christians since 1945. That's a very long time, and we have a revival coming up. We've been doing revivals, and if you want to gather with a group of Unitarian Universalist Christians and experience a revival and have a chance to be together and fellowship in that way, it's going to be this coming October 14th through 16th. We have 2 locations this year, in San Diego, which is in California. I know that's on the West Coast, but it's in California. Or in Boston, Massachusetts, of course, the Mecca for Unitarian Universalists. So those of you who are in Boston, you can go to Boston, or, wow, October, go to California and be in San Diego, where I understand that it is never cold in San Diego. So you can join us for a revival. I've never actually been to a revival, so if one of you could talk about what that's like, that would, I think, be a lovely.
Wait, Jake, tell me if there's anybody else I need to add to this pot.
There's no additional recurring gifts, but I do want to thank Stephen Meyer, who has jumped in with a very generous one-time gift. So thank you, Stephen.
Excellent.
Now, the revivals, people tell me about in the late 90s when the revivals started going, that was really a turning point for UU Christianity. It was when, for a long time, the journals had been coming out, articles, essays, that kind of conversation. This is when the community really took root, I think, in a lot of ways, for a whole new generation, meeting up at revivals, getting the chance to worship together in the free Christian tradition, and to take communion, to be baptized, and also to hear conversations and lectures in the Unitarian Universalist Christian tradition was so important. I know that a lot of friendships date from those experience of revivals, and there was kind of just a feeling of companionship and intimacy that comes through finding one another in that way. So I think we're coming to the end of our time here. Can we do the drawings? Robin, can you do the drawing for the General Assembly registration?
You have some chips
Yes.
there? Are those potato chips? What are those?
No, these are the names of all the beautiful people
that's
who
great.
have
That's great.
donated regular donations. Okay, are we ready?
Oh, wait. Hang on a second. Wait. Just wait a minute. Just wait. Wait, I'm not ready yet. Wait. Just wait. Wait. All right.
The winner is Ian McIsaac. Isn't that Scott McIsaac?
Oh, all right.
Isn't that Scott McIsaac?
Yes, it is.
Yes, Scott McIsaac!
All right. So Scott, aka Ian, we will be in touch with you about that. Getting your registration paid to General Assembly. Now we have some
Never goes to General Assembly.
What?
He never goes to General Assembly.
Maybe he will now. Well, what about second and third place prizes? Because we want to give away a lock of Hank's hair, and I know that
yeah.
wants me to write them a song.
Are you ready?
I figured if I don't stop this, then you'll never read the name, and I'll have to cut my hair.
Okay.
Stop! And the lock of Hank's hair goes to Curran Jeffrey.
All right.
Yay!
Hey, and Curran is actually one of the planners for the revival out in San Diego, so we could bring it to him personally.
Oh, excellent!
Like a relic. It could be like a relic, like.
That's right.
All right, are we ready? Wait, what's this one for?
This is for I will write them a song on their topic.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is okay. So for Jake's song, are you gonna do the drum roll?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, wait. Sorry.
The
I was getting a hat. Sorry.
Here. And the winner of Jake's song is Hank First.
Oh no! I withdraw that. I withdraw the prize. No.
I should draw again. Should I draw again?
You should draw again.
I'll draw again.
No, I'm happy to do it for
Hank
Two
doesn't get any
songs.
prizes.
Two songs.
No, Hank doesn't get any prizes. All right, do it. Drum roll, please.
Oh wait a minute. Sorry, wait. I pressed the wrong thing. Wait.
All right, and the winner of stop! The winner of an original song written by Jake Morrill is Laura Hoke.
Yay!
Yay, Laura! He lives next door to me in Worcester.
All right, Worcester.
Yay!
Okay, so folks, I think we've gotten to 10 o'clock, a little bit after, for our first ever online telethon. I want to thank Cecilia, Hank, and Robin for being willing to show up here.
Robin,
And
you know it's backwards. Every time you hold it up, it's backwards.
there we go. And I really want to thank all of you who reached down deep and gave what you were able to give to support the work of the UU Christian Fellowship. You are part of reaching a whole new generation now, whether online, whether at revivals, or through books and articles, or through the Good News Journal. You're part of spreading the good news that is Unitarian Universalist Christianity. Thank you so much. And I'm going to take us out and stop the broadcast now. Everybody say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
This is
everybody.
great.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. We're so happy. Bye-bye. Happy.